Welcome everyone to today's tutorial. In this tutorial we'll still be discussing about emojis, but this time around we'll be discussing about office emojis. How can you make some of your symbols in your office to be an emoji? You understand? Because emojis is of a different type. So now today we'll be discussing about office symbols. Office symbols. So now, as I've said earlier on, for your emoji to be in place, you need to have two different signs, which are the pound, the ampersand sign, and the pound sign. So now let us start. Now, for example, now if we want to make um, an office chair, let me say a seat that's popularly used in the office. So you make use of 1 2. Here's the code: 818186. So let me check the emoji we'll be having. You see we are having a seat. Can you see that we're having a seat? So let me move on, and so we'll be able to, for example, if you want to make um a laptop, you want to make an emoji of a laptop. So what do you need to do? So let me copy this so it will be more easy. Let me copy this. So we have this. So let me paste, and then I will just change this to 7. Change it to 7. So you see now we have a laptop as a emoji. So now if you want to have a briefcase as an emoji, so you change this to 8. So now we have a briefcase as an emoji. So now you want to have a mini disc as our emoji. So now we change this to 9. Now you see we have a mini disc as a emoji. Now if you want to have a floppy disk as a emoji, now what are you going to do? You change this to 90. Now you see we have a floppy disk as a emoji. Now if you want to have a optical disk, paste this, then we change this to 1. Remove the 0 by changing this to 1. So we have a floppy disk. So now if you want to have a DVD, kind of DVD emoji sign, so you change this to 2. That is the sign of our DVD. Now if you want to have a file folder, a closed file folder, so you change this to 3. Now you see we have a file closed folder. Now if you want to have a opened folder, change this to 4. Now you can see the difference between the two. This is the first one is closed while the second one is opened. So now if we want to have another kind of let me say if you want to have a page with a coil, we having this, a page with a coil. So sorry about that. So we're having this, changing this to 5. So making emojis in HTML is very, very simple, and it's very, very important as well. So once you have your starter code, what you need to do is for you to be changing the last 2 digits or the last digits of your code. that is when you'll be having all forms of HTML. Now HTML emojis. So now let me quickly change this. Let me make another one. Okay, let me make a calendar. How can we make a calendar? So let me paste this. What do we have? We have a folder. So a calendar will be 7. Now you see we have a calendar. A calendar is now is what 7. So um so we have a whole lot of them. So for example, uh let me make, I don't know what I want to display now. Okay, let me make a paper clip. A paper clip. So let me paste this here. So a paper clip will be 128 1. Paper clip will be, I'm coming, let me type this code from scratch. A paper clip will be 128 820, I guess 1. Paper clip will be 1. Yeah. No? 120 1206. I guess it's 6. Yeah. Yep. Now these are paper clip. These are paper clip. These are paper clip. Now a push pin. How can you make a push pin? A push pin. I'm going to make like 3 more emojis before I'll bring the tutorial to an end. A push clip will be 128 128 20 20, I guess 4. Yep, I got it right. So how do you make a ledger? A ledger with HTML. A ledger with HTML. So 2, I guess this will be 10. 10. Yes, that's a ledger. That's a ledger in HTML. So this is the few we can make. You can still make more. So you can play around with your last two digits. So let me just make this 90. Let me see what we are going to have. You see we have this. So let me just make this 70. Let me see what we are going to have. You can see we have the search button. So you can play around with all this. So you see, so you can play around with all these numeric values and see what you are going to have. So this is the end of today's tutorial. Please do well to follow and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.